This might help if I showed you what I was working on. This is an image of the sand skimmer that I'm going to screw around with here. And what I want to do is, I got two ways to do this because I separated out the layers. So let's go select grow by 2, which is fine. So that just basically brought this out a little bit, which is cool. And then on the sand skimmer level, because I have the selection up and running, oh no, don't do that. Control Z, skimmer. Are we still bigger? We're still bigger. So on this level, if we hide this level, I can bucket fill this in with black. And then when I go back and show the skimmer, that should be all we need to do. If I go right click and drop this down by hitting W and put it on the same layer, hit select and none, we should have put a nice solid black outline on the outside of this. I can show you in game what that's going to do. So now that that is done, let's go to fuzzy select tool up here. Make sure our threshold's cranked all the way up so it selects everything. And then we're going to go to image and crop to selection. Tighten it up a little bit and then export. This is going to be called the sand skimmer. It is taking like a super long time to export this image, and there's no way that it should be. And the reason it is because it's going to be a massive file because it's 600 pixels per inch, and I didn't adjust the size of the image. So you definitely wouldn't want this happening inside of Tabletop Simulator. Scale percent, and we're going to scale it down to about 25%. Scale, export it again right over top of the old file, and export, and then there we go. So when I right click on this, this comes up now as 920 kilobytes, which is pretty cool. So now that the sand skimmer base is done, let's fire up this red one. Fuzzy select the red. Ooh, it's got a bit of a shadow thing going on there. Oh yeah, this is with shadow, that's why. The shadow is going to be a little weird, so I'm going to try and remove the shadow. I have to look at this and see how it's supposed to sit on there. See, because this is top down, so it's going to look a little weird. I wonder if I can just like take these poles off, but that's okay. All right, so let's knock the threshold down a little bit. So we just want to select that shadow and delete it. We just want to select that shadow and delete it. There's a piece of shadow there because it's going to show up as a weird image inside whatchamacallit. Now with the fuzzy select cranked all the way up, it should select everything, and I should get a nice tight image. Okay, so image, crop to selection, and then image, scale. There's one other thing that I'm going to try screwing around with. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. So let's upload this one to Imager, GIMP on this one. This is the last piece, the last sail piece. Now if I do fuzzy select, the entire threshold, my fuzzy select looks tight, so there's no shadow on this thing, which is good. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll see what happens here. Let's go to scale image. Once again, we're going to go 25%. We don't need massive images inside of Tabletop Simulator. They'll take forever to load things up. Okay, so now I've got my 3 pieces for Tabletop Simulator done, and I'm just dragging them over into my Imager album. And then we are going to go to Tabletop Simulator. This is something rather interesting that I figured out yesterday. But what I did was I doubled the resolution on the other one. So this one here, you can see right away, it's much sharper. You can totally see the difference between the two of them. So this one is double, 3200 by 1890. The difference in the file size between the two of them, one of them might have been 400 kilobits, the other one was about 1.1 megabits, by doubling the the pixel, or yeah, the pixel ratio. But when you zoom in, the difference is kind of stellar. Nobody really ever gets this close to the table, but if you have like a really good, finely detailed map, might be worth your while, to show it off a little bit inside a Tabletop Simulator. So, Oasis Large. Here we go. This is the map that I'm going to use for this. Nice monotone, not monotone, but one color across the board. Beautiful little Oasis map. Who knows what terrible terrors lurk under the water, waiting to eat the innocent bystanders that are rolling through there or coming by. So if I go to my images and I go right click, copy image from my saved Imgur album, and then I want to go to objects, components, custom, and then token. So this custom token, I want to adjust the thickness on because this is the base of this boat. Hopefully this thing pops in properly and looks somewhat decent. You never know what you're going to get. See, it blacked out in between here and here. But, and when I expanded it and I made the outline of it black, the reason that was done, you can kind of see right here is the reason why I blacked it out. This would be way more pronounced. For some reason it didn't quite take over here and it's picked up the brown and the white. See what I mean? Like this is all kind of like different colors and stuff, which makes it look a little goofy. If I expanded the outside of it a couple more pixels and then did the black outline, it's supposed to look black like this. For some reason it showed up a little bit differently. Okay, so there's the base of my sand skimmer. Now that I got that dropped in there, let's see if I can't right click, copy image address, and do the same thing. Objects, components, custom, token. Control V. I don't want to increase the thickness this time because I want it to be relatively thin. What is tile? Top image, bottom image. Let's go Control V. Top image is going to be this. Oh, tile just gives you a square piece. Yeah, we don't want that. Token it is. So, what I was thinking of doing is increasing the size of this, like so. So this is supposed to sit across the top like a canvas kind of a thing. And then I get the impression that it's kind of supposed to cover up and float above the top of it. I could probably find something for this to sit on, but I had a different idea for this. I'm going to lock this in place and lock this in place. If you hit F9, you bring up this transition window. Make sure this thing is showing up here. This transform window. And what this does is it lets you move things around. So the rotation of it. We're going to go 0, 0, 0, and you can see that everything's moved. Now I click on this little red tarp, and I'm going to do the same thing. 0, 0, 0. Now I know they're both perfectly aligned, and the position doesn't matter. The position part is where it is on the map. This Y position needs to change because it's got to go up. So if you grab onto this little thing and we pull this up, you can see that this Y is going up over here. It's now 5.62. What I got to figure out how to do is how to get it to rotate around this way. And that's what this is for. So we'll zoom in on this a little bit and then find the one that is going to allow us. It looks like this green one. Okay, so you see which rotation is moving. So now if you want to, now that you've seen that, I think it's 270, puts it straight up and down, and then we can go back to this one. Why did you do that? Zero. Okay. We're where we need to be. That's all that matters. Okay, we'll grab this blue one. We're going to lift this up a little bit. Like so, and then maybe slide this back so that you get the idea. When I hit F1 and go back, it kind of looks more like a sail. I don't know if I like it this way, so what I might do is just try and flip it again. This one, let's put this rotation value. Oh, it went 0, 0. You're killing me here, you stupid thing. Which axis are you? Yeah, you should be 270. 0 and 0. And then if I want to rotate it, no. I'm just being retarded here. Oh, it's doing some weird percentage thing. I did not grab the right one. Jeez, you're killing me. 2. Sometimes you just gotta zero the thing out. There we go. So which one of these is going to allow me to, that's moving everything. So rotation, this rotation should be 90, 360, and then that's kind of what your skiff deal sort of looks like. Which is actually not bad for, like, you know, a couple minutes of farting around. Okay, so we're going to take this thing here, which is a joint tool. We're going to grab this and we're going to join it to this. Sometimes it helps if you right-click, F1, right-click. Let's name this 1. Right-click on this, and we're going to name this 2. When you mouse over, you can see you've selected 1 and there's 2. Just if you're not sure. So we're going to connect 1, and then you can see the 2, and that's what we want to do, connect 1 to 2. So that when, get rid of them now, when you unlock them, they should actually stick together. And now you have like a sand skiff that I just quickly made. Unfortunately, you have to shrink them or scale them the same way, which messes everything up. But it should be just a matter of hitting the L, locking them both in place, grabbing the gizmo, which is this one here, clicking on this piece, and then it's pretty simple. So if you want to scale it, you can just quickly do that. Sweet, I just made myself a badass sand skiff. Oh, it's getting... Got a little tweaky there because the top part wasn't unlocked. All right. It still kind of looks a touch odd for some reason. I wonder if I can just gizmo without locking it. No, it pops back up. Must have something to do with the joint. So if I want to unjoin it, first off, you got to lock it. Make sure you lock your pieces. Then You're going to click the joint, you're going to drag it off into space, and now it's no longer connected. Then we're going to gizmo, move, click, drag this down to where I want it to sit for this scale. And then we are going to go join this piece to this piece. And then it should just be a matter of unlocking them. We should be good now. We've resized the sand skiff. Not too shabby. All of that from a couple of images that I took out of, that I got from Blue Sword. Just added a little extra dimension to my, my badass sand dunes pieces. Look, I'm doing donuts. Oh, wait a second. It might help if you were seeing what I was seeing. Check this action out. Oh, what happened? Oh, it's going gimpy. I'm doing donuts in the parking lot of Walmart. The Walmart Oasis. It's not too shabby. So now, I think if I select everything, they're both highlighted. I can go right click and I can hit save object. Selecting both of them just allows you to keep them together. And I should be able to call this Sand Skiff Red. Save. And then when I go objects to my saved objects, Sand Skiff Red, let's see what happens when I click on this. It brings it back. Just duplicated it. Again, the only image that you're going to have, or the only problem you're going to have, is if you want it to be a different size. You can individually shrink them, but you're going to have to edit them a little bit. But you only got to do it once for your map. Lock, joint off into space. Move, select, drag it down so that it looks somewhere like where it's supposed to be. Hit the joint this piece, joint that piece. F1 to get the hand back, unlock, and now we have a resized sand skiff just that quickly. A big one and a little one. Yeah, I did it. Fantastic. It's pretty impressive, I have to say. All right, well, now that that's done, delete.